CBO score showing the bill much more expensive and the record high inflation after 40 years, I think will give Senator Manchin great pause. And what I would ask him to do, if you believe we should pause, count me in, Joe, sitting down with you and others to lower inflation, deal with the supply chain, and maybe come up with a new bipartisan bill to address some of the needs of the American people that we actually can pay for.
Democrats are already...
Folks can't have their cake and eat it too and really negotiate a bipartisan deal with a lot of Republican input and then lower our ambitions in a Democratic reconciliation package. No, I think that's part of the push and pull here.
More than 169 million payments have been sent out in the third round of stimulus checks. But groups are continuing to push for a fourth round as inflation continues to bite. Do you support the fourth round of stimulus checks, folks? Tell me in the comments below. And do you think that President Biden should approve the fourth stimulus checks this year? I want to know your thoughts on this. Now, earlier this fall, everybody, the Senior Citizens League, a nonpartisan advocacy group, started a pressure campaign to push Congress to send those receiving Social Security stimulus money. In a letter to leaders of Congress, the chairman called for a one-off $1,400 stimulus check and a stimulus payment for seniors. Now the chairman urged members to send a special stimulus check to those receiving Social Security benefits. Now, such a measure could help defray the cost associated for some seniors from the cost of living adjustment in 2022, which was the highest in 40 years. Now, this is an all-in reaction to the highest levels of inflation that the American economy is dealing with. Prices across the country are reaching record highs, and for those on a fixed income like Social Security, they are seeing rapid decreases in their purchasing power. The Bureau of Labor Statistics has also reported that since October 2020, consumers are paying on average 6.2% more across the market. Prices for food are up about 5.2%, while energy costs are up more than 30%. The campaign began before the announcement of the 5.9% cost of living adjustment. But still, the organization has continued arguing that it is not enough. Earlier this year, the organization began to hear reports from thousands of seniors who said they were expecting extreme financial hardship as prices began to trend upward. Many have expressed a feeling of abandonment from the government, stating that the government has forgotten about the seniors. Tell me if you agree. Now, research have also found that the costs for seniors have outpaced COLA increase. While over the last 21 years, COLAs have raised Social Security benefits by 55%. The cost for housing and healthcare increased by 118% to 145%. Last month, the House of Representatives passed the Build Back Better Act. The Build Back Better Act, and the bill does not include some benefits for seniors. This includes the expansion of Medicare to include hearing services and provisions that will grant the government power to negotiate a limited amount prescription prices with pharmaceutical companies each year. And the bill will head to the Senate, where its fate is extremely unclear. Under pressure from more conservative Democrats, those leading the bill have been forced to consider taking some aspects out of the legislation. Now, everybody, the petition to raise the fourth stimulus checks has reached over 1 million signatures. And so far, the Center on Medicare and Medicaid announced a 14.5% increase in the price of Medicare Part B. Now, the CPI, which measures the cost of a wide range of goods and services, rose 0.8%, and food prices have jumped 6.1% over the year. So we're definitely seeing that more stimulus payments are definitely necessary and have to be sent out. If you guys agree, tell me in the comments. Thank you again for watching.
Just a while back had said because of his efforts, the shelves will be, quote, well stocked for Christmas. But I don't know the last time President Biden rolled out to a Walmart or a Target to do his Christmas shopping. If he did, he would find out that a lot of things that people are looking for Christmas, they're unavailable, they're on back order, or if you've ordered them, they're late on delivery because we don't have enough delivery folks, or the price of those items have just gone up significantly. All of this is because of the problems in our logistics chain, supply chain issues, inflation issues. And all of this is because of Biden's policies and what the Democrats have been pushing over the course of the past year. So things are not going to get better if they continue pushing this reckless tax and spend bill, because inflation is going to continue. We're still going to have labor shortages. I hope that Santa can get all of his elves in to get all these toys done for the kids across the United States and around the world, because Biden's policies aren't helping. We need to get folks back to work. We need to bring down inflation. And the only way that we can do that is to get our house in order here in Congress and make sure that we're promoting workers going back to work, a strong economy, and repairing our supply chain.
Thank you so much, Chairwoman Beatty, for always centering since the beginning of my days here last term until now. And of course, thank you, Chairwoman Waters, for continuing to support the work of Chairwoman Beatty. You know, I think it's really important as a person that did organizing for a long time, this conversation and debate about equity versus equality. You know, something I learned very on, Chairwoman, and for the panelists and my colleagues, is that, you know, equality is giving everybody the same pair of shoes. Just give everybody a pair of shoes. Equity is giving them a pair of shoes that actually fit. It's something that I learned. I don't know where I picked it up from, but I remember that, and it really stuck with me in understanding the difference. But let me get to many of the panelists here, and thank you so much for your patience and sticking with us on really important questions and fully understanding how we can be helpful and be a partner here. With 47 trillion in assets under management, you know, the decisions that these, you know, firms make with regards to diversity and inclusion have implications for the entire financial services industry and our economy. And I think that's why we're having this. And as the committee's report found, we have a lot of work to do. The industry does. And I'd like to, you know, ask all of you about the SEC's, you know, recommendations for diversifying the industry. You know, in July, the SEC's Asset Management Advisory Committee, Subcommittee on Diversity Inclusion found, quote, widespread gender and racial bias in the decisions by those in positions making asset and asset manager allocation decisions regarding who manages money for governments, universities, charities, foundations, and the institutional market in general. The committee made a number of recommendations. They went on in stating that investors, the industry, the public markets would benefit by SEC guidance that clarifies that a wide variety of factors may be considered by fiduciaries in their selection of asset management firms, and that fulfillment of one's fiduciary duty in this context does not require automatic exclusion of asset managers who are newer to the industry or who do not already have certain level of AUM. So, Mr. Pan, Ms. Tarapola, apologize, and Mr. Clements, if a firm acquires the services of outside asset management firms, how are they assessed? Is the assessment based exclusively on things like assets under management?
Score showing the bill much more expensive and record high inflation after 40 years, I think will give Senator Manchin great pause. And what I would ask him to do, if you believe we should pause, count me in, Joe, sitting down with you and others to lower inflation, deal with the supply chain, and maybe come up with a new bipartisan bill to address some of the needs of the American people that we actually can pay for.
Democrats are already... Folks can't have their cake and eat it too and really negotiate a bipartisan deal with a lot of Republican input and then lower our ambitions in a Democratic reconciliation package. No, I think that's part of the push and pull here.
More than 169 million payments have been sent out in the third round of stimulus checks. But groups are continuing to push for a fourth round as inflation continues to bite. Do you support the fourth round of stimulus checks, folks? Tell me in the comments below. And do you think that President Biden should approve the fourth stimulus checks this year? I want to know your thoughts on this. Now, earlier this fall, everybody, the Senior Citizens League, a nonpartisan advocacy